Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, we welcome State Senator Dallas Harris to the program for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon, a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails, featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere. The Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson. We'll save you a drink.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you. But we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2021 Nevada legislative session is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. Ahern Rentals is ready for your next project. Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. And Southwest Specialties creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are delighted to welcome to the program for the first time State Senator Dallas Harris. She's a Democrat of District 11. Pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're Chair of Growth and Infrastructure. You're also serving on Health and Human Services and Judiciary. So I'm going to start off with a heavy topic, but I know it's one that you're working on, which is death with dignity. This is a bill that David Parks was responsible for several sessions but never made it through. What do you think the chances are in this session that you'll be able to get this done?
I think the chances are high. I'm working along with Assemblyman Edgar Flores in the Assembly side, and so we are tag teaming it, trying to make sure that we wrinkle out all of the issues that happened previously. You mentioned former State Senator David Parks. He has this amazing legacy, and there was no way I was going to let this piece of legislation theoretically kind of die with him leaving. This is something that I passionately believe we need to get done. This is the government getting out of the way and stepping back and allowing people to make the decision between them and their doctors, not just one but two, and any other religious clergy that they feel they need to consult. It's simply the right thing to do.
Dr. Joe Hardy has been in opposition to this all the way, and his thinking has been that it's not a doctor's job to terminate life, but to save life. I personally completely disagree with that, which is why I've brought this up at the beginning of the program. What is his position on this, and how much opposition is he going to be able to mount to this?
I'll be honest, I haven't had a direct conversation with Senator Hardy. I understand where he's coming from, and frankly, I want doctors to be on the side of saving lives, and so that completely makes sense. But I think we're talking about something a little bit different here when you deal with a terminal illness, where there is no hope for recovery, aside from some maybe small sliver of a miracle. And people are in pain and are suffering. And so I'm happy to talk to Senator Hardy about maybe some of the experiences he's had and try and relate those to what we're actually trying to do.
You know, one of the things that has driven me crazy about this, and it applies to other issues as well, but we're talking about this one, is that, you know, if I'm in that situation, I want the ability to make the decision for myself. And you can make the decision in horrible ways. You can go and buy a gun and you can take care of this yourself. You can jump in front of a train. You can do lots of things. This seems to be a much more humane way, that if you have decided that you wish to end your life, that it should be your choice.
Well, I completely agree with you. I'd love to have you come testify on the bill when it's ready. You're making some great points, and that's exactly what we're looking to do. We're looking to give people an option that is informed with their doctor. It's not the doctor's decision. This is a one-way direction. It is the patient's decision. The doctor is simply there to offer the diagnosis, to offer a second opinion, and then to offer a prescription that we can do this in a way that you can die with some dignity, as the bill suggests.
And I think that it would be beneficial to first responders who have to deal with people taking care of this in their own way, if that's the choice that they make. Let's move on to a more pleasant topic, but I appreciate you carrying the flag on this. The tiny house bill. Talk to us about that, because we've gotten a lot of publicity about tiny houses, but you're taking this a step further with your bill.
Yeah, so I'll tell you where the idea started. I was going to move out of my house and thought, well, maybe I'll buy a tiny house and build it. And then I looked around and said, oh, but there's no place to put it. It's not a single family residential by definition. Of course, it's not commercial. It's not an RV. Where could I actually find a place where it's zoned for me to put a tiny home? And the answer was, there isn't one. And so this bill is simply asking localities to find a place to put these, so that there are multiple options. You can add a tiny home to the back of your residential unit if you'd like. Maybe you can have a tiny home park where there are quite a few. I think Tony Shea kind of showed us what that might look like. Right. We also have some ideas here in Washoe County. Has been doing a great job of exploring the possibilities. And then of course I want people the option to, if you want to build a tiny home, put it on a foundation somewhere, you should be able to do that as well. The options are abound.
Yeah, and Naomi Jardin, I should give credit to, on the Reno City Council, has done a lot of work towards this and helped get some built. Is there pushback, and if so, from whom?
Well, I think the counties are a little hesitant about the state telling them what to do. Nobody likes to be told what to do, but actually they have been very, very willing to come to the board, help me make sure that I get the bill language to reflect my actual intent and to not be too overly burdensome, but still simply putting the directive in. Find some zoning for them. Local governments are the place where zoning is done best. I would by no means try and prescribe, overly prescribe anyway, what the zoning regulations should look like. And so we've been at the table working on trying to find a way to get counties to do this with as much flexibility as they need.
And with the need for affordable housing, I mean, it's a big issue in Southern Nevada, but it's I think an even bigger issue in Northern Nevada, where we need 50,000 new homes over the next 10 years, and that's a minimum. I think with all the new businesses that are flooding over from California at this point, the 50,000 is definitely the floor, not the ceiling. Sure. So do you see this as a way to resolve that situation?
I definitely do. I think it's another tool in the affordable housing toolbox. You know, we can use this as a stepping stone for, you know, the more traditional home ownership, a chance to build just a little bit of equity if you don't have the 20% down for a $350,000 house to make that first step. And again, that's just one of many options. Affordable housing. There are wraparound services that can be provided for those who are without housing currently. But there's also the opportunity to make these high scale and hip, the new neighborhoods, right? So it can run the gamut.
Yeah, and we've seen the success of Container Park in Southern Nevada and the Eddy in Northern Nevada to say that people are enjoying the unconventional.
That's right.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Senator Dallas Harris after this timeout.
Get in on the action at the Tamarack Casino in March. Win your share of the $75,000 Mad Money giveaways now through March 31st. Plus 5 times points every Friday.
Can't do it. Stupid, like my mom.
We can't do anything at Mommy's because you won't pay child support.
Dad said you cheated, and he's not even sure he's my dad.
Mommy said you left both of us, so she isn't gonna let me see you. I look just like my father.
I'm divorce attorney Marilyn York, and I may represent men, but hate has no gender, only casualties. Please, stop sacrificing your children in your war against your ex.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
Get in on the action at the Tamarack Casino in March. Win your share of the $75,000 Mad Money giveaways now through March 31st. Plus 5 times points every Friday.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with State Senator Dallas Harris. This influx of government aid that's coming, and very rapidly, what are your thoughts on how this money should be utilized? Should it be put into long-term projects, or should it be used for one-shot funding so that the government doesn't have to bear a cost down the road when that funding won't be there?
Well, I think we have to spend...
What a small question, huh?
Right? I think we have to spend the money responsibly. And that means a couple of things, right? If we put it into long-term funding, are we going to be able to fund that once that money runs out? The answer could be yes for certain projects, depending on the cost. More likely, it's no. So one-shot appropriations where we can get our economy going, where we can help the most amount of people, seems to me to be at least the more heavier proportion of what we should spend the money on. We've got children who need to get back into school. We have mental health services that need to be provided. I think we can do infrastructure, and not just the traditional infrastructure, but set up mental health services, right, with those types of one-shot appropriations, but that can also set us up to do better in the future going forward.
Okay, so when you say infrastructure, and we see potentially another huge infrastructure bill coming from the federal government, what kind of infrastructure would you look at in the short term for Nevada?
Well, I think we have some IT issues that we're probably going to look at upgrading.
So like rural broadband, for example?
I would love to see broadband across the state. That is something that I think we could and should work towards.
NV Energy is talking about actually putting that in with their expansion of power lines across the state, that there would be an expansion of broadband there.
That would be fantastic. I think if we've learned anything from this pandemic, it's that broadband is an essential utility in 2021, and it will continue to be moving forward. So we need to make sure that everyone has access. Any little step we can take towards that's an admirable goal.
So we had the President and CEO, Doug Cannon of NV Energy, on the program last week, and I was talking to him about the $2 billion that NV Energy is going to invest in expanding its services, and in particular to rural Nevada. And then we've got Chris Brooks's $100 million bill that's going through the legislature. But my question is this, which is, eventually that cost comes down to the public, because it's going to be a pass-through, even if it's over 10 years, 20 years, whatever the length of time it may be. At what point do you feel the public, in looking at their power bill, is going to start pushing back on some of these green energy initiatives?
Well, I think fortunately for us, we have a regulator that is in the middle between the utility and the public. And so.
And you used to be an attorney for the PUC.
I did, I was, yes. And their job is to vet every dollar that NV Energy plans to pass on to the public. And so there's no right to just pass these on, but there has to be a demonstration that there's going to be a benefit in order to pass that on to the ratepayers. Without that vetting, the project can go forward, but the risk would then be on the shareholders of the utility. And so we've got a middleman to make sure that the costs don't get too high. And here in Nevada, actually, we've been doing a great job of keeping our costs of energy fairly low, and I anticipate we're going to continue to do so.
And Doug Cannon did point out that rates in northern and southern Nevada have actually dropped over the last couple of years, and so that was his point in response to my question. But I think you gave a much more detailed answer there. What did you think about the proposal, and it's not in bill form at this point, and may never be, but about getting rid of natural gas? There has been tremendous pushback, obviously from Southwest Gas, but also NV Energy, because their power plants are powered by natural gas. Do you think that that's a realistic thing?
Maybe not right now. I think you're hitting on something that is an issue I feel I deal with all the time. Sometimes moving towards doing things better requires a very huge investment up front that a lot of us don't have, right? Gas is cheap. In order to do that, we would be raising the cost on a lot of low-income folks who are currently keeping their heating costs low by using gas. And so until we can solve those issues, I don't think we can get rid of gas completely. But we do need to look at some type of transition that's going to be better for our environment. We needed to address a lot of these issues 50 years ago, and we're running out of time. And so there's got to be a balance to make sure that we are looking forward to changing things for the better, but without harming people today.
Southwest Gas's point, and they made this on the program a couple of weeks ago, was that they are working on ways to make natural gas more green, and they want to be part of the solution. Do you see that as realistic?
Yes. They have to be a part of the solution. That is my philosophy generally about almost everything when it comes to solving a problem. You're going to need Southwest Gas at the table. They're the experts in the area. They're the experts in serving the state, and so that expertise is going to be needed. And as long as they are willing to come to the table and share the same goal, then I think that we could get it done.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back with Senator Harris after this timeout.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Come visit Design Outdoor's store and backyard to see our wide selection of fire pits, barbecues, and pizza ovens, natural stone water features and fountains, and frost-proof pottery. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
One of the most psychologically damaging things parents can do to children in divorce is disparage one another, which is why I can't believe I even have to make this commercial. Half of your kids' genetics come from this person you're spewing hate about. Your children have the right to love you both, but more than that, they deserve to love themselves.
Marilyn York might be a men's rights divorce attorney, but this is for every selfish parent. Shut up.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2021 Nevada legislative session is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. Ahern Rentals is ready for your next project. Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. And Southwest Specialties creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with State Senator Dallas Harris. Prisoners' public assistance minimum wage. One of the things that has always driven me crazy is that we put people in jail, we leave them there for the length of their term, and then we let them out and we don't give them any money, we don't give them any assistance, and so where do they go for assistance? Invariably, they go back to the people that got them into trouble in the first place and the situations that got them into trouble in the first place. Tell us about this potential bill here.
Well, Senator Dina Neal had the foresight to address this issue. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you've summarized it perfectly. Not only do we let them out without any resources, and they are likely to kind of go back to the life maybe that they once knew. Also, they're getting on government benefits, right? And so we're paying to house them. And then we're paying to put them on government benefits on the back end, and that just doesn't make sense to me. We have lots of victims who need money, who are entitled to restitution, but prisoners aren't making any money to be able to pay them back. So you see people getting $40 over the course of someone's prison term. There are a lot of different reasons that we need to do this. On the top of my list, they're people. They are working. They are being paid by private corporations. If we want a minimum wage, minimum should apply across the board to every human being. So this is just one step in that direction.
Well, and what's been interesting is to see senators like James Settlemyre and Ira Hansen agree on this.
I was shocked too. But I'm happy.
Well, I'm not
happy
shocked.
To see it.
I'm pleased.
I was shocked,
and that's fine. Yeah,
I was shocked, and I'm happy to see it. This is one of the more pleasant surprises during session. That I think that's a sign of the times that we've come around to, where we can all agree. Listen, they're people. They need to be paid. We've got to treat them as humans, and that's not always been the case. That's not always been America's history of incarceration, and so it's great to see that we've come so far.
Is there more of an air of bipartisanship in this session than previous sessions? Are you getting that sense or not?
I sure hope so. I think we have quite a bit a way to go. I'm hoping we can get some bipartisan discussions around generating some revenue for the state. That's going to be the real test.
Okay, so when you say generating revenue, after you're already going to get a huge influx from the federal government that will more than cover any losses, where would you be seeking an increase in revenue, and for what purpose?
Well, these are discussions, I like to say, that are kind of above my head. But my hope is that we would be better able to fund the state moving forward, right? We just had a discussion about a lot of this money coming in. Maybe we can do some one-shot appropriations. But I'm not looking to go back to where we were. We were underfunding our government then. We need to pump some more money into our health services across the state. We need to pump some more money into all of our social services across the state. Nevadans are hurting, and we need to make sure that we're in a better position moving forward in case the next pandemic comes around. You don't want the whole house to fall.
Okay, so where would you seek that funding from? What revenue source would you look at?
My goal, again, if it was up to me, if I was kingmaker, would be to ask a little bit of everybody. Maybe we take a little here. Maybe we ask a little bit of businesses. We need people and businesses to come together to give just a little bit more. Traditionally, I think we've gone over after single sources. Oh, let's just go after mining. Let's just go after the commerce tax. Let's just go after the sales tax. Let's just go after the property tax. But from what I've learned in public policy, the best solution is probably to do a little bit of it all and ask every Nevadan, business, personal, to step up a little bit.
Telehealth is an area that I personally think is fabulous. When you have to go get a prescription and a refill, but it's one that requires you to actually show up at the doctor's office, invariably you're talking about a 3-hour, maybe 4-hour journey to be able to make that happen. Telehealth, you make an appointment, you're on the phone or on video, and it's 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at most, and you're done. Are we going to see telehealth become a permanent part of the system and be reimbursed at the rates that a visit would occur?
I sure hope so. And we just heard a bill in Health and Human Services last week that would seek to do that. We've seen kind of how great telehealth can be over the course of the pandemic, and I hope that a lot of the benefits of technology persist as we move forward, and that we don't go backward to an antiquated system where you kind of have to be there in person when it just doesn't make sense, and you can get things done over the phone or over your iPhone via video. These are cool things we need to continue to support and to push.
I was in my car in San Diego on a doctor's visit in Reno. It was perfect. I mean, it couldn't have been better. What a pleasure to have you on the program. Please come back.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll be right back. Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com. As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's Development Company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's Development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
We'll see you on the next broadcast, coming to you from the Bank Saloon in Carson City. See you then.